All right, YouTube, what is going on? It is Zaya here from Zaya&TheSteelers back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about how the Steelers are going to get Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Mike Williams, and every other free agent slash tradable wide receiver. You know why? Because Omar Khan is him. And who am I to say that this isn't real, living in a world where we just got Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Patrick Queen, etc., 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 man. We're living in a new day. We're living in a new era. And I'm excited. So if you guys are a Steelers fan or you enjoy NFL content in general, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. We are pushing 1,000 subscribers. Once again, thank you for 500, guys. And let's get into the video, man. So obviously, as confirmed by the CTE ESPN network, ladies and gentlemen, big check mark there. The Steelers and Vikings are still working on Justin Jefferson trade. Both sides are working to get it done. Now, all right, guys, let's be honest. First of all, the CTE ESPN network, the CTE ESPN network is, of course, Antonio Brown's network slash Twitter page slash, I don't even know what this is at this point. And really, is this real? Probably not. Like, is this a bunch of bullshit? Probably. But as I mentioned in the intro, like, we're living in an age where, is it bullshit? Like, is it? Because all of the other things, like Justin Fields all year, Russell Wilson all off season, Patrick Queen, it's like, those moves were so far fetched, but now here we are living in a time where it is, that's what happened. We got rid of our first round drafted quarterback. At this point, man, we're prone to do anything. And so I ask once again, Omar Khan, like, how are you feeling, man? How are we all feeling about Omar Khan? How did he do this offseason? And are you guys in on getting Justin Jefferson? Because, by tomorrow or something, and I know this probably isn't real as I mentioned, but, why not? We're just living in that time. Andy's wearing Deontay's number. That's crazy. But I imagine the price for Justin Jefferson would be absolutely insane. Now, this guy is on pace. He's played, to the pace of like Randy Moss, where he's played to the pace of like, literally all-time receivers. Like we're talking Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, not in this order, like Jerry Rice, like his stats, Antonio Brown, his stats are like just overlapping them. No offense. And of course we're in an era where like, passing is more prevalent. The offenses today are crazy, and so he benefits from that. But just, I just want to be clear about who we're talking about right now. This isn't even like good receiver. This isn't even like top 5 receiver. Like this is like top 3, top 2, possibly even top 1, depending on where you have like Tyreek Hill, depending on where you have like Jamar Chase, who, by the way, we're Steelers fan. Jamar Chase is not the best receiver in the league. So, and the Vikings, they're far enough, man. Who else did I say? Tyreek Hill, he's in the AFC. The Vikings, they're far enough. They're in the NFC that like us as Steelers fans, we can talk objectively about Justin Jefferson. Like, yeah, he probably is the best receiver in the league. And so with that said, not only is it going to come with significant draft assets, right? But his contract, the new contract he's about to sign, is going to be absolutely asinine. It is for sure going to be the highest paid receiver contract ever. Could be the highest non-quarterback deal ever. And honestly, rightfully so. Like I said, what he's doing with his play, what the records he's had, like this guy's earned it, man. He's really played like the best receiver. And it's not even necessarily about being the best receiver, which he is. It's more about like when you're a free agent, or like when your contract is up. He is following a point where like Tyreek Hill is signed. He's following a point where people like Stephon Diggs have signed. People, Deebo Samuel, just receivers in general. We'll talk about Deebo Samuel in a second. But a lot of receivers in general have already gotten that big contract. I'm not sure if Jamar Chase has yet. But I'm sure Jamar Chase is going to get paid more than Justin Jefferson at the time. If the Bengals, if they decide to be a real team and not just let go of all their assets because they can't pay him, I'm sure Jamar Chase is going to be the highest paid receiver after Justin Jefferson, just like Justin Jefferson is going to be the highest paid receiver after somebody like Davante Adams, who, by the way, I forgot to mention as being the best receiver. But someone like Davante Adams, like he's going to sign for higher just because his deal is up after, And so, that's a thing. I know a lot of Yinzers. I know we're not going to be like fully in on it just because of all the assets we would have to give up. And Antonio Brown being the source for this, it is what it is, guys. Sue me or whatever. But it would be interesting, man. It definitely would be interesting, and it would be fun. It would for sure, like, fast forward. Right now, we got to win on the rebuild. And low key, not even the rebuild, but you know what I mean? This new era. And low key, all of these receivers that we are allegedly linked to, all of the players that like maybe we will get outside of like maybe Tyler Boyd, but when we look at like Justin Jefferson, when we look at Deebo Samuel, when we look at Brandon Ayuk, when we look at like Stephon Diggs, when we look at Mike Williams, who we've been talking to or we're going to talk to if he ends up making it to our meeting. If we get any one of these guys, that is a real sign that, hey, we are trying to win today, you know? And you can probably get that from the moves that we've made, up to this point. We've gotten Patrick Queen on defense. We've gotten rid of maybe locker room cancers or whatever you want to say with Deontay, with maybe even Kenny. And we've improved on the quarterback room rapidly, Not to say that Kenny wouldn't have played good, not to say that he wasn't going to be good. But he was going to be good with time, He was going to be good with more reps. He was going to be good with, knowing the new offense and stuff like that. Russell Wilson, this is a guy who has, reached that level of, okay, I'm good now. I'm him now. I'm like one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Whether he's there or not anymore, it remains to be seen. But at one point, he was him. And so we're expediting that process. The learning that Kenny Pickett would have to do, the like film study that he would have to do to stop spinning out of the pocket. Like Russell Wilson has already done that a million times at this point, So that's what I mean with like we're kind of propelling this. And of course, for Justin Jefferson, like I shouldn't even really still have this on the screen, but if we get Justin Jefferson, like we gotta win the Super Bowl, right? But even somebody like, let's say, what does Andrew Filipponi has? Even somebody like Brandon Ayuk is, definitely a move that's like, okay, because we'd have to do a sign and trade. If we give up any assets, in a new contract, it's like, all right, the window is now, and the pressure is on. We look at Kenny Pickett. He just had his press conference in Philadelphia, or with the Eagles, I mean. And, if things don't work out, man, if Russell Wilson and Justin Fields don't work out, we're going to be looking pretty silly, man. And Kenny Pickett, he's doing his thing. Like, we're going to be looking really silly if the defense continuously kind of like, lets through on the run. If the defense isn't the hard-hitting main factor of the team, which I really think it will be. But if that doesn't happen, then, there's only 2 people who can be blamed, because we got rid of everybody else. We got rid of the quarterback. We got rid of the OC. We got rid of most of the bad contracts. We got rid of most of the bad coaches. Like, the fingers to point are going to be at Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin. And both of them believe with these moves shown, hey, man, like, we're a real threat out here, bro. Like, we could really win it. And if we get one of these guys that just takes us over the top, and I'm in the point now of what I'm questioning, should we go out and get a Brandon Ayuk? Should we go out and get a Stephon Diggs? Should we go out and get Mike Williams from the Chargers? Like, if he can end up signing here, like, should we do that? Or should we aim more of our focus on the draft assets, on the wide receivers in the draft? Because I do believe it is a really deep receiver class. And we could maybe, I've seen a lot of people talking about us moving up for Odunze, which, maybe is a real thing. I think we'd have to get very high up to the point where it's like, hey, man, just why don't you throw in a next year first as well? Like, you might get Justin Jefferson for that same price that you're trying to move up. So, there's that with Odunze. But then we look later at Brian Thomas Jr. Then we look later at with, like, Xavier Legette. And then we look later with, like, Jermaine Burton. There's Brendan Rice. There's, I can't think of his name right now, but the guy from Texas with the 40, I think his last name's Worthy. Tez Walker even. Like, there's a lot of Roman Wilson. There's a lot of receivers in this draft to where they can kind of have an effect. And the Steelers themselves, like, it's kind of the opposite of the Kenny Pickett thing. I know I keep mentioning Kenny Pickett, but, like, guys, he was just here, and it's an easy example to point to. But a lot of people say we took Kenny Pickett all because he went to Pitt, and we didn't do research, and we didn't really think too hard about it. It's like, oh, we're losing Ben, let's get Kenny. It was just kind of potato kind of move, right? But us with wide receivers, we do not fuck around, man. We do our homework. We study. We, besides, let's see, Chase Claypool, like our high taken wide receivers, are, they turn out to be studs. And so if we end up taking one in the draft, like, I'm pretty confident that they're going to be the right receiver for us, and they're going to be a dog. And at the same time too, it's like, hey, why not, try to get Brandon Ayuk, right? And so then he's just an example. Why not try to get Brandon Ayuk, right? And so we have Pickens, we have Ayuk, we have Van Jefferson, we have Calvin Austin, right? But Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin, I still got to see it from Calvin Austin to, like, really be like, okay, he's wide receiver 3. No offense to Calvin Austin, but until I, like, super duper see it, I maybe am still thinking, okay, maybe if we get like Jermaine Burton in the draft and he's our wide receiver 3, on top of like the Brandon Ayuk who we just signed and traded for, slash, if we go out and get Justin Jefferson, man, we get him, we get Pickens, and then we get Jermaine Burton. It's like, whoa, that's a really spooky wide receiver team, man. And on top of that too, Russell Wilson, we look at you. You got a lot of things to prove, and I think to me we're doing everything in our power to make sure that, hey, you're gonna have a real chance. Now, of course, in order to trade up or trade for any one of these guys, we're probably gonna have to give up our first, and that first can be used on a tackle. But the Steelers, say what you want about the Steelers, man, they keep doubling down on this damn Moore thing. They're like, hey, he's our left tackle, and Broderick Jones, we're gonna continue to put him at the right spot, even though he's a left tackle. Like, there's a real chance that the Steelers just keep doing that, or we get a tackle later, not in the first round. We'll see if they start over Dan Moore. But say we don't get a tackle, right? And then Frazier, we're looking at him maybe in the second round, right? Jackson Powers Johnson likely will go before our pick, so that eliminates tackle. Just say we don't want to go, right? Just for shits and giggles, just say we want to wait because we were vibing Dan Moore, because we've continuously vibed Dan Moore now for years. And then at center, we pass on the first round center, and we kind of just hold firm for Zach Frazier in the second, and just pray to God, he's there. That leaves not a lot of pieces left to really use that first round pick on. If not wide receiver, we could look corner maybe. We could look D-line maybe, although I don't know at 20 who's still left. Maybe like a Cameron, Cameron Newton, duh. But I'm talking, the guy from Illinois. I've just done so many mock drafts. I don't think it's Cam Newton. It's somebody Newton, though. But just people on the defensive line, I can't think of at 20. There's a real chance, man, that we are going to use our first round pick on a wide receiver, or use it in a trade for a wide receiver. But at the same time too, we could not. We could just sign like Tyler Boyd, and then we could use tackle first round, center second round, wide receiver third round, defensive tackle fourth round, fifth round corner, another tackle in the sixth. And these aren't exact picks, but that's a very common possibility too. In fact, if this wasn't a new regime, this is exactly what would be happening right now. Like, for sure, we would be getting a tackle. For sure, we'd be getting a center. For sure, we'd be getting et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we're just living in a new day. We're living in a new era. And I did want to bring this up, too, since, we are on the topic of Justin Jefferson going to the Steelers and CTE ESPN confirming the sources. So, not only are we in the market for Justin Jefferson, but the Patriots are, too, according to CTE ESPN. And so we're going to be in a bidding war with New England if we want Justin Jefferson. It comes down to how bad do we want him? How bad do we want to win a Super Bowl? How bad do we want to be the best offense on turf? How bad do we want to have a top 5 offense and a top 1 defense, man? But yeah, the trade market is going to be absolutely insane for Justin Jefferson if it ends up being a thing. Really, guys, like, I know. This is not real. It's nothing. I know. But hey, man, what if it happens, bro? What if we get Justin Jefferson? What if we get Mike Williams? Because as we have a tweet here from Blitzburg, Gary Dulac was on the Rich Eisen show and suggested the Steelers could make a bigger move at wide receiver, or bigger, I will tell you, Rich. And we shall see, but that is another step that they might take. Like I said, it might not even be Mike Williams. It might be a bigger catch, if you will. No pun intended. Just reading that tweet too, bigger catch. Let me think of a bigger wide receiver. DK Metcalf? Who has played with DK Metcalf? Russell Wilson? Do we send a 4th round pick and get DK Metcalf from the Seahawks? Because sometimes the NFL works like that, man. Sometimes these trades be happening like that, and it's like, oh shit, we just super improved for not that much. We just paid less than the Eagles just paid for Kenny Pickett to get DK Metcalf, And just low key, just thinking about the fit, like, of course we have Pickens, who I think is kind of similar to Metcalf, just in like the size department, pause. And so I think we kind of need like a smaller kind of route runny receiver to me, just because I think Pickens can do that kind of like deep threat vertical role, but we need somebody like over the middle. And Pickens can do that too. Not too much on Pickens, but I think we need someone like a Deontay Johnson again, low key. And so not too much on DK Metcalf. Maybe we'll get him. But to me, my favorite of the list of alleged wide receivers that we're gonna get, low key, both of them come from the 49ers. I would like Brandon Ayuk. And I would like Deebo Samuel, man. Or I would like Deebo Samuel, because as we can say here, Zach Smith, shout out to him. The Steelers have reached out to the 49ers regarding Deebo Samuel's availability. And so either him or Brandon Ayuk, I am down with, man. I am down to just get anybody to propel us forward. And I am down to win a Super Bowl, bro. Because at the end of the day, that is what it's all about. And I'm also down for the season to start. I'm also down for the draft to get here because I am excited for Steelers football, man. I am excited. This offseason, like, it gave me like 10 more years on my life, I think. Because, watching the Steelers games, it's like they're taking 10 years away every game. But this one off season, it's like we're winning. It's like it hasn't even been close either. And, a lot of the Steelers games, it's like, oh, double overtime, Boswell field goal. Phew. Double overtime, the other team is at the one, but then all of a sudden Minka got an interception. It's like, phew. But free agency this year, we've been like, yo, Russell Wilson, we're bringing you in. We're having a 10-hour meeting. Guess what? You're signed. Patrick Queen, literally the first shred of, hey, the Steelers might be interested in Patrick Queen, signed him. Justin Fields got him, traded him, or we traded for him. Kenny Pickett, you don't want to be a backup, traded you. Like we're just moving so fast, we're moving so rapid. And the moves so far to me, outside of the Deontay Johnson trade, and that's just for like what we got back. I don't think we got the most back for him, but the movement of Deontay maybe was needed, maybe wasn't needed. That remains to be seen. But other than that, all of our moves have been good. Other than that, I think we got a real chance to win this year without one of these receivers. But it's looking like we're interested in them. It's looking like we're gonna make one more splash play. And I'm excited. So let me know, guys, in the comments down below who you think is going to be the next Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver. Are we going to trade for Justin Jefferson? Are we going to outbid the New England Patriots for Justin Jefferson? Are we going to get Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Mike Williams, Stephon Diggs, Tyler Boyd, DK Metcalf? Whoever else, Ray McLeod, whoever else is available, will we get him? Will we bring Juju back? Will we bring Chase Claypool back? Let me know down in the comments, guys. Anyways, I think that is going to do it for me. I am going to get out of here. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. If you would like to continue following me on this Steelers journey and my journey watching the Steelers, do the same thing. Subscribe, like, ring the bell. This has been Zaya from Zaya&TheSteelers. I'm horrible at outroing. I still haven't figured out how to do it yet. But we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.